Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. I'm going to do another chapter of this here book. And like I said before, the background noises, I don't know if it's too distracting, if it loses me views, I don't know, but I regard it as very good training and makes me speak better outside of this camera. If you have to adjust your speech to these background noises, but I still hope it ain't too distracting. But anyway, this shit is still worth reading, and maybe when the season for this AC and these devices back here ain't making a lot of noise, I would actually consider just doing these chapters all over again, you know, like maybe when the fall comes and this background noise quits and nobody does it. But anyway, I'm still going to go through with it because all I got to do is read them over later, and it's worth reading them over. Because shit like this really got to be out there. The next chapter I'm choosing is Divide and Conquer. This is bullshit that happens in workplaces when we're grown adults, and ever since we're fucking kids in school. I mean, kids in fucking school, games being played, and I think politics and everything you're seeing, nothing really much has changed. But yeah, this book was also written way before we had internet and social media, and somebody ought to write a book like it again for these times. But anyway, Divide and Conquer. It starts out as, it reads, in the singles scene, Joe, a short, egotistical man, had his reputation of being a rover. It is said that he would try to seduce anything in sight resembling a woman, married or single, young or old. Joe made his living directing television commercials, which gave him an aura of glamour that attracted people to him. And I was always told, even sarcastically by people in workplaces that followed everything from politics to glamour and Hollywood, if you had a fancy car and some status, you could be the elephant man driving a fancy car or motorcycle and in a certain position that had money, and damn near, well, even though a lot of women, both sides, there's accusation of different kind of things. Yet there's a lot of women that go right along with things just because they think they're going to get money too, and consent. And in other words, that's a lot of other stories. But yeah, we know there are people in school like that too. The women are always flocking to, girls are always flocking to because of this or that, you know. And then when they don't have something or other money, then you got the party kings and the party queens. Both sides, both guys and girls, there was a divide and conquer thing, you know. Like the TV show Mean Girls, you got the popular girls versus the girls that don't got anything. You don't suck up to our group. You're an outcast. Divide and conquer. And then there was a divide and conquer just to fucking survive, because people are trying to make you the outcast. Be a professional. You got to almost be a sociopath to protect yourself from sociopaths. But anyway, that's enough about that. Get me started on this. That's a lot of other subjects. But anyway, Joe made his living directing television commercials, which gave him an aura of glamour that attracted people to him. One day, a friend visited his office, bringing him a very attractive young lady who lived in Chicago and whom he had been dating for several years. The young man had come to New York to pursue his career while his fiancée finished her degree in theater. In addition to being attractive and well-formed, the young lady was also bright and ambitious. She had been left a moderate sum of money by her grandfather, which had helped to pay for her education. Joe immediately spotted a pigeon and invited them to supper. First, he filled the young lady's head with the great success she could have if she moved to New York. He assured her he would try to use her in commercials where she could earn a great deal of money, and he would introduce her to others important to her career. he suggested it would be important to create a successful front. To create a successful front, a $1,500 a month apartment furnished to the hilt, stylish clothes, and she would have to be seen with the right people. Wink, wink. And supper was coming to As supper was coming to a close, Joe excused himself and departed to the men's room. And he passed the waiter. He signaled for a check to be given to the young man at the table. When he returned, the bill had been paid. In other words, what's the author saying? These people in here, and this guy, which is a sneaky asshole. If I read this over again, I'm thinking, okay, he went to the restroom and stiffed the dude that he was trying to seduce away from the boyfriend here. And well, let's read on. I read this before, stiff somebody with tip. Before I get distracted and really start yammering. Well, would you rather have me read just like a robot? That would be boring as shit, wouldn't it? But anyway, as he passed the waiter, he signaled for the check to be given to the young man at the table. In other words, get somebody else to pay the bill, including his. Oh. When he returned, the bill had been paid, and the evening ended. Joe suggested Sheila come to the office the next day, and he would videotape and evaluate her performance. What kind of performance? He also suggested that she be alone as to avoid any possibility of self-consciousness. Well, look at both sides of the track. Some accused of sexual harassment, then look at how many actually go along with it, thinking they're going to get somewhere, they don't get this and that, and they realize they've been duped. Both sides to a story. I mean, definitely not condoning a lot of other things there too, but I'm not going to go on and on. You wonder about the Bill Cosby thing, that there's a little bit on both sides, which you don't excuse certain other things either, but that's other subjects. And definitely I do not condone Epstein and his crazy and his damn shit and that fucking what's the damn other guy? But anyway, during the session at every other meeting between them, Joe suddenly denigrated her boyfriend. Yeah, well, what a slimy piece of shit. Let's read on. Let me repeat that again. During the session at every other meeting between them, Joe suddenly denigrated her boyfriend. Suddenly and subtly. Although Sheila gently defended him, Joe finally convinced her that her boyfriend was a hindrance to her career. And look how many women in this instant fall for that. A decent guy, greedy for career. And in an instant like this, if she falls for this, get rid of the decent boyfriend, oh my God, all of a sudden, for her career. And like I said, too, goes along with everything, and she don't get exactly what he promised. Maybe he promised something he couldn't deliver or less. Let you decide, is it going to be, she going to accuse him of rape or whatever, but yet she was going to go along with damn everything and say this slimy asshole is an asshole too, you know what I mean? And she should have better judgment. Say, fuck you, I don't want no career, if I'm going to get rid of my decent boyfriend. But don't even get me started in this, you know what I mean? Under certain circumstances, neither side is any damn good, you know what I mean? Alright, although Sheila gently defended him, Joe finally convinced her that the boyfriend was a hindrance to her career. In the meantime, Joe set up auditions with the advertising agency producers who conceivably could hire her. But unbeknownst to her, many of these producers have never worked with him, and the only way they would grant an audition to her was because Joe implied that they might have a shot with her sexually. So, Joe was going behind her back and saying that. Let that be a lesson, something that you should walk away if you were women watching this, you know what I mean? So anyway, in this story, unlike other ones that I'm not saying all women are going to be hoes just to get to their career. This story, the author is talking about a woman that maybe she not right away. You don't judge her right away, and you don't know that yet. But already, this guy is already whispering to these guys. You know what I mean? Oh, and this also reminds me of a chapter I already read. A chapter called "Be Nice to Me and I Will Make You a Star." I read that chapter already, and it pretty much talks about a woman who was willing to pretty much go along with them or everything. But yeah, she ain't much better like as a victim, but yet these guys are scum too, you know what I'm saying? But alright, on the other hand, Joe told her to anticipate their sexual advances and to gently put them off. Oh, so in other words, he's whispering to them, wink, wink, man, what a hot number here. Or, you know, saying shit. But then he's telling her, and any women, you know, watching this too, or if there's any symptoms, you know, anything like this, get the fuck away from them, cancel the damn appointments, and don't bother. Well, look how many people, what they damn did to advance their careers, so to speak, the ones that did get there. Imagine what they would probably be doing. But anyway, that's another story. Gradually, Sheila accepted Joe as genuine, knowledgeable, and just what her career needed. So the story is starting to take a little difference in her judgment here. Let's see what else happens. I don't want to spoil the story too much, but she subsequently followed his advice. Sheila's boyfriend, however, smelled a rat. Good man, good man. He made inquiries to others in show business who were not so optimistic about her prospects. So, anyway, yeah, women out there would say, hey, you guys out there, maybe your wife or fiance or girlfriend in a situation like this, maybe you could do the right thing, and maybe, hey, you want her to succeed, but maybe you should check on these guys. And you could be risking, right, that she might get mad at you. Oh, you don't want me to succeed. And maybe can't see that these guys are freaking sex hounds or whatever. And then another hand, you know, it can wind up one kind of way where she ends up going along with it, or else she goes along with it and then gets used and again runs back to the guy. Oh, I'm sorry, I was so wrong, and everything too. But anyway, I'm just saying what scenarios can transpire. No situation is the same, but let's read on. He relayed these doubts to her and suggested it might be wise to make occasional visits to New York to establish a foundation before settling permanently. So, yeah, telling her, wait a minute, this guy might be a con man. Maybe he might be lying to you. He might even be a serial killer, serial rapist, serial killer or something. Don't commit, you know, go visit, just scope things out cautiously, be careful. Or say, let me come with you, or if I don't have time to come with you, take somebody with you, you know what I mean? Don't go by yourself. Which is smart. You ever see, a lot of this crazy shit is depicted in movies. But anyway, sorry for my yammering, but like I said too, I'm not going to read like a robot, that would be boring as shit. But anyway, as Joe now had her confidence, he persuaded her not to follow that advice. Now, shortly after, when Sheila's boyfriend had to go out of town on an extended trip, Joe went in for the kill. Since he was an excellent cook, he set up a gourmet candlelight and champagne dinner. Exercising his considerable charm, he seduced her. As the months passed with no actual television commercial jobs, no film or theater commitments, and her money diminishing fast, Sheila began to worry. When the phone calls to Joe took longer and longer to be returned, she started to become very suspicious. Accidentally in the evening out with her boyfriend and a mutual friend of Joe's, she was finally able to get to the bottom of what was happening. it seemed that their mutual friend did not admire Joe very much, consequently revealing that Joe had been putting her boyfriend down to everyone, and he always tried to seduce every woman in sight. At that moment, Sheila and her boyfriend looked at each other, knowing that they knew the truth. A week or two later, they split and she returned to Chicago terribly disappointed, feeling foolish and in pain, but infinitely wiser. But, like I said, look at what other kind of outcomes could have happened. Something that seems too good to be true probably is. Look how many women are out there have that bullshit put into their head as young girls, that they're going to be handed buku bucks and be a model just because maybe they're told that they're cute, or they're actually taught that they're cute and they're entitled to the job as a model. And there's a lot of con men out there. Oh, and how the fuck do you know it ain't a front for human trafficking, like in the movies and like the news things you hear about? There very rarely in this world is any such thing as somebody can be a model. Whether you have good religious, if you're not like part of the religions, the fanatical religions, I can't stand television religions. If you have some good convictions, any kind of things you believe in, you wouldn't want to be a model. Being a model is actually a very, what do you want to have the word, narcissistic. These ones in Hollywood, you know what they probably did to get their places in Hollywood, and they become social media influencers. That didn't come free either, but so there's so many slots there. How many people really get there? And the ones that do get there, you know, imagine what they had to do to get there, you know. But yet you got a lot of people that think that the world is going to hand them everything because they're cute, and a lot of them, some of them get there, and you know what they had to do to get there, and then the rest of them, 90% of them get duped, because how many slots really there are out there, you know what I mean? Can they have really good, I hate to say it, any of you got girlfriends out there, or if any women are watching this, or any of my fitness friends, there's no fucking such thing as a becoming a model a good way at all anymore. It's look at it out there. The ones that do get there, they're a bunch of narcissistic trash. And then on the other hand, there's some that are really good people that are trying to get somewhere, like as a model. And look what you don't get nothing without somebody trying to get you to do something or other. You know what I mean? Even when you do get there, like I said, I did videos on this, who you're allowed to talk about and not talk about on Twitter, that you got to believe. And you also, that if you say anywhere on social media that there's only two genders, like I said on that video of Dr. Phil show, you lose your whole career. You know, they'll fire you just like that. Like I did that one video, there was an episode of the Dr. Phil show. All the people on there were black. The transgender advocate was black, had really poofy hair. And then the woman that was going to get her modeling job just get fired from it. She was also black, right? And she said one little thing on Twitter with her actual Twitter account, knowing who she is. Oh, there's no such thing. There's only two genders. Which, if you believe that, you say that on any social media, boop, fire you. So even BLM won't protect you. Huh? And then on top of that, the woman was, Dr. Phil was even siding with them and saying about clinically, because he's Dr. Phil, somebody is transgender, legitimizing it his way, and practically saying that the other one that was a model was out of luck. So to make it actually worse, like I said, she's all begging and pleading, practically crying, oh, please forgive me, please recommend that they give me my modeling job back. So you kind of see her as a victim in a way that you're not allowed. You have to See, if you were a model, whether you're black or white, you gotta watch what you say, and Dr. Phil sticking up for them or whatever, and then the transgender advocates saying freedom of speech is a privilege and not a right, and literally Dr. Phil thought it was totally okay to have her be made destitute, if she don't apologize. When she pathetically after that, she might as well, the one that was the victim here would have been better off. I'm not laughing at her per se, but I lost respect for her because I feel she might as well have gotten up out of there and told Dr. Phil and told all of them to go fuck themselves, because I lost respect for her as a victim in a way, because she literally was crying, please, please, please forgive me so I get my modeling job back, but yet it pisses me off that these people will order and snap of the fingers somebody to be destitute. Get them back to the corner, make them plead, cry, and apologize, and even after they plead, cry, and apologize, you know what, fuck you, we're not going to recommend you go get your modeling job back. And if they do get it back, they're giving up their self-respect, and how many people are going to have any respect for them, except for most of the delusional, degenerate, cult-like Hollywood world that's endorsing all the bullshit, you know what I mean? This is just some extra if you got this far at the end of this video, and I get my digs in. Alright, that's it.